And so thank you both. And so Val, we're going to just sort of officially
Yes.
bring you in. I'm so glad to see you. It was so fun.
I'm so glad to see you. Thank you for having me and for hosting this event. I think it's amazing. I don't think it's ever been done, especially online. So I really appreciate Portal to Ascension's efforts in this project and representing the people that have actually had Kundalini awakenings, which is, I think, amazing, to speak to it. And then also those that have been studying this awakening process. I'm sure people have dedicated their lives to it, because it's really it's something that really a lot of people can't speak to. Even when I had the awakening, I was looking for books and videos, and there was nothing out there just 10 years ago, nothing on Kundalini. And all of a sudden, it's coming out from the woodworks. There's Kundalini information all over the place, and I love it.
Don't you think it's because the vibration of the planet is shifting, so more people are accessing that energy?
Yes, because Kundalini is rising. Kundalini is activating more and more people, and there is no doubt about it that humanity is saying, you know what, we have to talk about this. Because I think a lot of people were having Kundalini awakening and were scared to talk about it. Some people maybe didn't even know what it was. But once you find the definition of Kundalini and you kind of place it to what you're experiencing, then you say, oh, wow, this is something real.
It's powerful and real, not just real, but it's like, for everyone on here, it's been life-changing.
That's right.
And so I think having this there's also a lot of people in the chat, I think, are also talking about their own experiences. But for some people who don't know anything about it, we're educating people, right?
Listen, I've been getting educated ever since I took on the role of helping to produce this event. I did a deep dive, and it's really changed my life. I can say that just even researching you ladies and starting to get the energy going and then talking and diving in changed my energetic flow. So anyway, Anastasia, it's really been wonderful that you're here. We really appreciate you here. And thank you for your presentation.
Thank you. I'll talk to you. Give me a call.
Alan's coming to New York City, and I think all the goddesses are calling it. Listen, if I were you, Alan, I would have all the goddesses on the stage with me, and actually energetically that way, because you have such this is beautiful. I took a screenshot of us because
good. Are you going to be in California, Anastasia?
In June, I'm planning to go there, but I was going to say again, maybe you haven't heard it, Alan, you have been a tremendous, very important person in my life, in my spiritual development since 2015 when I met you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take your bows today. Everyone has said this.
I know, I have the same feeling. Alan is connected to that Kundalini, so
I think I am, because
he is.
And I'll tell
because
people
it's not just us, Anastasia. It's I know a few others.
Oh yeah, and not just in Kundalini. Let's just say I have a good friend in consciousness who said to me one day, if it wasn't for Alan, my career would never have taken off.
Oh, really?
And, I'll tell you who that was privately, but
I just look for the people who really are at the cutting edge, people who are changing consciousness. So I'm like a talent scout, Joan. I'm looking for the
I get it.
No, you're more than that, Alan.
I know.
When I look at Alan, I see Alan, but beyond that, I see him in many, many forms. But his most peculiar form is that he was a very well-known, like, royal prince or king.
Really?
And I can't place it exactly, but he
never
was
told me that before.
I believe it. I do believe it. Absolutely.
You experience it and then it goes. But the point is that his role is to create a community. So his kingdom was always creating a community, enlightened community, which I thought was perfect.
True. And I love the way you show up, Alan. in the back. You sort of sit against your background, and you're always sort of reclined, and you're just like
I like to be reclined.
And you're so I feel like we're just in your. She's so right. We're in your kingdom. All right, now I have.
Maybe it's the Melchizedek energy or something like that.
I think it's the royalty, and it would be so fun one day to deep dive into how we're all connected, because I'm sure we've been on similar platforms. All right, Val, I want to just give a little introduction, and then Alan's going to give you his point of view.
And I actually have a PowerPoint presentation.
Great.
It's not going to be like a power, but I have some images that I want to show, and
great.
You know, it's going to take us down a thread. So
I love it. I love it. Okay, good. So just a short introduction.
Well, but just make her co-host so she can share the PowerPoint.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, Neil should be making her the co-host.
And Anastasia, hang out, come and on June 19th, if you're in LA, join us on the Kundalini panel, okay?
I'd love to.
Okay, if you're in LA.
Right, well,
it's illuminates
in Malibu. Okay, call me. We'll talk.
Oh yeah! Oh my God! Then I'll get to meet you.
Yes.
Perfect. I'm going to be
Val. We're going to get you on Zoom there too.
If you could Zoom with Val.
All right. Okay, go ahead.
Getting your panel anyway, Alan. I noticed that he wanted a panel, and we're sort of deep diving periodically into the panel because he is the king from his past lives. It's happening now. And right now, we're also with royalty here, just to mention. We have Val is a descendant of the royal Italian family, the Medicis. Okay, she's a first-generation Italian, born in Brooklyn, which I think is great. My family's from Brooklyn. She moved to New Jersey when she was 10, and when she graduated from high school, she moved to New York City and now lives in the Hudson Valley of New York. But before, I want to give you her background, okay? Because it's important, because she wasn't always into consciousness. So before going on to run her company full-time, Val worked as an information architect and model actress for many kinds of companies. She collaborated in those days with multitude of brands ranging from high-line fashion companies, well-known charities, as well as wellness and holistic brands, including, by the way, Charity Water, Crystallized, Burberry, the Trump International, and Walita, to just mention a few. She also starred in a docu-soap on TLC called Obama Bells. Excuse me, I got the bellies in my head. And the MTV Road Rules. So she was featured. She's just a personality. She was an influencer before she became a Kundalini activatress herself. So I'm happy to welcome you, Val.
Thank you.
I'm so honored you're here with us.
Thank you for that intro.
I just want to say, I didn't really know you before the Kundalini Awakening, but I met you moments before it happened.
Great.
I was hosting this workshop with a guy named Abdi Electricity. That's his name, and he's originally Iranian. And he would touch people, and they would fall down. And I did that to me, and it was kind of blissful. And then he came over to Val. You just came there because someone told you about it, and touches her, and then she just starts bouncing off the floor. Really, I said, who is this woman over here bouncing off the floor? I mean, really, like this, and waves, and screaming, and shouting, and voices, and language, and it was phenomenal to watch. It was really, it's like that was generating energy in the room, and it was beautiful. It was really beautiful to see the divine being embodied there. And I know it was quite a thing to get adjusted to, but I really liked seeing you really wake up to something that you really are. So thank you so much, Val, for being a
What a shock to your system too. That was wonderful. All right, Val. So thank you. We'll let you give your presentation.
Yes.
So thank you for having me, both of you. It's an honor, and I'm thrilled to talk about this topic because it's absolutely changed my life. I walked into the room where Alan was just talking about as a person and walked out as a different kind of person, a multi-dimensional being. I literally started speaking in different languages, started speaking in tongues. Energy was coming out of my body. in waves, which was like, it would irritate people. That's how much energy was coming out, because anyone who wasn't connected to this energy, they or felt it was foreign, they would just act out. And so I was just lost and went through this journey with people that were connected to the energy, such as Alan, my daughter's father, and then Abdi, who became my teacher for a long period of time, and then others. And then it just kept growing, and the community kept growing. And I was lucky because I know a lot of people who have Kundalini awakenings feel isolated and lost, and even like feel like they're going crazy. So I want to talk about how Kundalini is not just it's not just an energy that comes from a place, or it's not a practice that comes from a religion. Kundalini is universal. It's galactic. So that's my presentation. And how do I share?
Go to screen share at the bottom. Do you see screen share?
Share screen.
Yeah, share screen. Click that, and then you pick one. And is that it?
Yeah, this is it.
Great. It's great, beautiful presentation. Great font there. Okay.
Great font. It looks galactic, doesn't it?
Very galactic.
Oh my God, I love it.
I haven't seen a font like that. That's great. Okay.
Fun. Okay. So Kundalini, an ancient galactic gift that was sent here to Earth, and we're gonna go down the history, but then also how it's kind of affecting us in the present day. So it's not just a timeline. It dips in and out of those timelines. So we're going to talk about what is Kundalini, the origin of Kundalini, religion and Kundalini, Kundalini and ancient aliens, and Kundalini's galactic purpose. And I say, with an open mind and heart, you are preparing yourself for a Kundalini awakening. And that statement is, people say that, how could that be, just an open mind and an open heart? But that's the only way you can have a Kundalini awakening. It has to be from your mind, having that mindset where you're allowing the energy to come in, and the heart wants it. The heart wants it. And it might not be a conscious thought, but it's subconscious to the point where your soul is allowing for this energy to come in. So this video, I love this, by Alex Gray. And I watched it about a year after I had my Kundalini awakening. And mind you, this, right after my Kundalini awakening, I couldn't find any information on it. So when I saw this video, actually it was a bit more than a year, it was like 2 years. When I saw this video, I was so thrilled. I was so happy, because I said, oh my goodness, this is exactly what happened to me. So I'm going to play it for the audience. Oh, hold on. Is it allowing me to play?
Yeah, just press the space bar. Maybe that'll help. Will that play if you press? No.
No. Okay, so I'm going to do it this way. Hold on.
Yeah, do it without the power.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to do it this way. I have the presentation on another. No.
We'll go back, and you just can click the arrow that wants to play, maybe.
Why won't it play? Okay, there. You know what I could do? I could do this. I'll find it. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. I love Alex Gray too. He is somebody who actually paints the Kundalini energy.
Yes, and didn't he have a Kundalini experience?
I think he did have a Kundalini. I think you're right.
I don't know if it was it a full-on experience or like full-on awakening?
Well, something happened that shifted his consciousness besides just LSD. I mean, he did get like downloads, and I don't know. I'll ask him next time I see him, actually. That's a good point. So I think if you press the arrow, will that work on the bottom of the video or in the center there? Will that play it? Is there a place on the bottom to press? This is in PowerPoint, is it? Is it PowerPoint? Wait, you're muted, Val. You're muted.
Yeah, the video should just play. So if it's not playing, I'm not too sure. Maybe you can play directly on YouTube.
Yes. Wait, unmute yourself.
I'm gonna try doing that.
Yes, just directly on YouTube and share. Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably easier to go to. If you tell me what the YouTube is, I can maybe pull it up.
I think I got it.
I think it's worth waiting for because this is.
It is. One sec.
A script. This is really sort of how it flows.
Yes. Okay. I think I found it. So can you guys see that?
No, you have to take this down and
reshare. One sec. Okay, now I have to take.
Now reshare what you just
found. Share again and make sure you click share computer audio. Share sound. So when you click share screen video, at the bottom it says share sound.
Lower left hand side it says optimize video.
Oh right, share sound.
And optimize video. Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Okay, can you see that?
Not yet. Now we can. So
all right, so here we go.
Make it full screen. Do you want to make it full screen?
Yes.
Yes, perfect.
Ready?
Okay. Yes.
So that's it.
Wow. You know what's so weird? There's a picture of Alex Gray just showed up on my phone just before you played.
Would you build a website for major brand with more than 200 million users using Wix? Well, we did.
That's an ad. Hold on, I'm sorry about that.
Hi, I'm an R&D manager here at Wix. Today I want to show you.
Okay, we're back.
So we're back. All right. So now let me share the presentation. So much back and forth.
That's okay. We're with you because I know that's what happened to you. That illustration really describes how you described it to me.
So the energy it was this very warm energy going through my toes, into my feet, into my legs. And I said, what is that? My conscious mind was saying, what is that? What is that feeling? What is that energy? Why is it so hot? But my body was feeling cold. So this energy is very hot, but my body was feeling cold. And I've explained this in prior interviews where the warm energy is healing and the cold energy is activating. So it's a magnetic energy that what happens is your field starts to grow. And so your magnetism becomes very large. And that's why you feel cold. And even the energy of this being, his name is Abdi, and others that transmit the Shakti is cold. And it's cold. It's feels like breezes of wind and it feels magnetic. So Kundalini wants to be very active, not just inside, but outside as well, because it's, in my experience, it's considered also the Holy Spirit that's activating the holy Kundalini. And I know I've never called it that before, but it absolutely is holy. So let me see, where are you guys? And I can't find you in the
PowerPoint.
Yeah, no, I can't find.
Just go.
I can't find your.
Which?
The Zoom.
Oh, just go on the bottom of your screen should be a Zoom icon, right?
Yeah.
But we see you. It's okay.
Okay, but can you see my presentation?
No, because you have to share now. Share screen again.
Yeah. Come back to the Zoom. Yeah. You should see the icon on the bottom.
Okay.
Do you see it now? The green button below.
I gotta find you guys on the Zoom.
I have to say, your eyes have changed since that Kundalini experience. You much more ET like.
Right. You've always said that, Alan. Right. You always say. Okay. Is this it? Okay. Found you.
Okay.
All right. So now let me share the screen.
Yes. There we go.
So,
okay.
So Kundalini means of that which is coiled. And this is the reason why people talk about it as a snake-like energy. It's not an actual snake that goes through the system. It's just an energy. It is coiled at the bottom of your root chakra. So I had the experience of the heat rising up through the feet and to the legs. And then of course, as soon as it hit my root chakra, that's when magical things started happening. And the root chakra, you feel all the energies of your childhood, I saw my birth all the way up until the point of my life, till I was probably about adolescence. So right before then, I saw my whole life go before me. It's like a near-death experience, Kundalini, because you're given so much information about your life. And then as you go through the chakras, you experience all the things that has happened in your life that might have needed, you didn't handle it well, which hurt you, which hurt others, which could have either destroyed you, ruined your life, or made it better. It's, those forks in the roads. So it's really like a near-death experience, but it's very, very detailed and very, very poignant, where it wants to show you those, what I call, it's like the old film strip where there's a square in the film strip of each picture. It's like Kundalini points to those snapshots of your life, of which are important, that you need to look at again and heal. So that's what happened in the first chakra. And this energy is a fire energy, and it wants to shake you and open up these chakras in a way where you feel like you're going through surgery. Feels like that's what I felt like. I felt like I was going through a energetic surgery. I knew nothing was happening outside of me, but I was like, I was going through so much. I was shaking, I was screaming, I was laughing. I mean, not all at once, but in these experiences of going through the chakras. And the energy that is magnetic is the female energy, the feminine energy, which is called the Shakti, or what they call the Holy Spirit, or they call it the what's it called? Shekinah, the Shekinah. So these energies, it's all one energy, but it's that female, quote unquote, goddess energy that burns through these chakras, and it heals the body immediately. I had an ulcer in my solar plexus for years, probably about 10 years. And the energy, as soon as it got into my solar plexus, I literally felt like I was going through a spiritual surgery, and it healed my ulcer like that, just like that, and never came back ever again. Mind you, I had the Kundalini awakening in 2010. So I've been healed of that ulcer ever since. But through this process, you're feeling all kinds of things. You're feeling completely surrendered to this energy, and whatever comes up, you're going through it. You have no choice. Even if you try to stop it, you cannot stop it. You are pinned down to wherever you are. It's usually laying down, because the energy goes up the spine and you have to lay flat. And I know a lot of people think that Kundalini should rise when you're sitting, but it's virtually impossible to sit and have Kundalini come through you in full force, because it will literally just it's like a bolt of electricity. And when a bolt of electricity comes through you think you're going to be able to just keep your legs crossed and sit down? Impossible. You can have Kundalini rising sitting down, absolutely, because it's softer and it doesn't go through all the way the chakras. But Kundalini awakening, it is so powerful. Again, it feels like a bolt of electricity, a bolt of lightning coming through you, and you will just lay back down like you've been struck by lightning. And so it's virtually impossible to sit down. I've actually tried, and it just throws me back down to the floor. And so you're completely surrendered to this energy, and whatever happens. You're just going to go through it. And I know it might sound scary to some people, but it's amazing because it's the one time where you're completely surrendered 100%. There's nothing else that you can do. You can't run, because essentially you are running from yourself. And the divine has a contract with you that day. It's saying, no, today you are having this awakening. Your soul signed up for this, and you're going to have this awakening. So there's no running away from a Kundalini awakening. So it opens up the nadis. In Hinduism, the nadis are all your electrical currents. It opens it all up completely, where you are now a conduit of energy. There's no turning back. You will forever be a conduit of energy. And once you feel the nadis opening up, you can actually feel them. I remember I could feel my fingertips, like as if they grew longer, because what happens is your field also grows. It grows wider, much longer and wider. And then your activation brings in all kinds of beings. And I also believe that our soul has connections and deep relationships with beings that have helped humanity have Kundalini awakenings. And I believe that my relationship with the person that gave me Abdi, the person that gave me this Kundalini in this lifetime, I have a deep soul connection to him. But in that moment, I also had the being of Yeshua, and some people call him Jesus Christ, and he was present in my Kundalini awakening. And I said to him, what are you doing here? I left you so long ago because I grew up in a Catholic family, but I had left that religion. I became atheist. And so he said to me, I've always been with you. I've never left you. So, and he was walking me through the chakras. He's telling me, this is what you're going to go through. And this is the reason why you're going through this. This is the reason why you saw all that. Do you remember why you did this? And then then he activated my throat chakra. He activated my heart chakra. When I had my heart chakra opening in that video that you saw with Alex Gray's presentation of Kundalini, it was like oneness. Energy was just flowing through me like this. The bliss came through me. First time I ever felt bliss. I was laughing differently. It was more like full on from the heart, like full on laughter. I was laughing at myself. and Yeshua was telling me, this is a joke. Life is a divine comedy. I mean, in other words, and he wasn't speaking in English. He wasn't speaking in Hebrew. He was speaking in light language. He was speaking in what some people call tongues. And I understood every word. And then I started to speak back in tongues, because he activated my throat chakra so I could speak. Once the energy started moving into my throat chakra, and I started to speak, and I remember I was whispering, because I was like whispering the language, and he was talking to me. I would talk back. It's like, what? My conscious mind was saying, what language is this? What is this? How am I even saying the words, and how am I understanding what he's saying? So I was going through that, still battling, the ego was still battling the divine truth of this experience. And suddenly there was a shift where I just said, this is real. This is real, and everything about this is amazing, and I'm gonna go with this. This is a beautiful and divine. And suddenly, all of a sudden, the wisdom came in, and nothing could stop it, because as soon as it hit the third eye, then I started seeing geometric shapes. I went into the universe and started seeing the divine geometric sacred geometry in the universe. And then I start seeing how we're living in a projected reality where it comes through consciousness. And I was receiving all these downloads, and it's like, whoa, like my mind was completely blown. I was just like, and I became like more intelligent that day. And Kundalini does that, but also, by the way, it makes you more intelligent. Your brain, it opens up the nadis in your brain, and there's humanity doesn't probably use most of their brain. They only use, I think, what was the percentage? 20%, Alan? Alan, you there?
Probably that, or less, depends how much you're in the matrix, right?
That's right. But what happens is with Kundalini, it starts to open up more and more and more of your brain, where you can access different parts of the brain and be able to do different things, where some people think it's considered like miraculous or considered like they're gifts of you just have divine gifts. But we are meant to have those gifts. As humanity, we were always meant to have those gifts. They were shut down by the matrix of this existence. It was done on purpose, and I'll talk about that in the next slide. So this is another video. So Kundalini energy is a feminine energy, and it's also a sexual energy. And I really need to get this online, I think, because I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, it's not going to work.
Right clicking. Do you have the original video somewhere?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Because I'd love people to see this, because this is really you activated.
Right. Were you there, Alan?
This is a transmission. No, I don't think I was there. No, but I...
All right, let me get it.
Yeah. Go. Is this online, or are you going to your...
It is online. I'm going to get it.
All right. But I think it's really fascinating, because you're covering some of what other people have said, but
right.
You're also adding your own take, and the activation of the chakras is something you experience viscerally. I mean, people talk about chakras,
yeah,
but you actually felt them, which is pretty amazing.
Right. I actually went through the chakras one at a time. Yes.
Yes. Most people think chakras are just abstract sort of concepts, but
no, they are PowerPoints in your body. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're related to the endocrine glands too. So all the special glands in the body are the physical components of these chakra, or the 7 seals they're called. But
that's right.
Yes.
Okay, so here's the
Oh, share your screen again when you
Yes, I will.
Okay, and yeah, great. And optimize the sound and picture.
Yes. Let me just find you guys again, because what happens
I
is
love that statue of Isis behind you too. That's...
Yes, thank you. That was from Mount Shasta when we went.
Yes, you found it on Mount Shasta.
Remember that?
Yes.
Goodness.
There we are.
All right, here we are.
Okay, good.
All right, so this is He's a healer. He works with crystal bowls and his voice. His name is Raphael, and he's a brother. And this is we just did this spontaneously. He's like, I want to work with you. I want you to feel this energy. And this is Kundalini right here. And it's not the first time it happened to me, but once your Kundalini is activated, Kundalini is your friend. You're always going to go through Kundalini.
And I want to say, just watching this is a transmission, actually.
It is. That's right, Alan. It is because both of us he and I are exuding that energy now, and so it has no limits. The energy, it doesn't stay put in this video. It'll go through the video.
Yes.
Aulang las malisukan ng siya umana. Waku glan hao ben wata heng. Akana tas kanan chua kanay haben. Wala ka huang inesiuna. Ela pasal indisya. Metuju ahema guta wahai babalay kuta. Lewalang amin amen. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Okay, so
can you describe what you were feeling there, Val?
Yeah. Again, it's like a lightning bolt of energy that comes through my feet all the way up through my chakras, all the way up. And it's just like this very waves, it's constant waves of that energy. And, again, I have no control of it whatsoever.
But also your state of consciousness seems very elevated. Your awareness, you're bringing in divine energies.
Yes. It's all happening simultaneously.
Right.
It's one big, energetic party.
Yes.
There's no stopping it. Nothing. I mean, you could see whatever is going on there it's just an energetic, like, I can't explain it. It's so powerful that it just takes over. I couldn't even try to open my eyes or walk or talk. There's no way. It has to calm down. It has to do what it has to do, and then it has to calm down. And then after I wake up out of the state, I'm still in a state of like oneness. So it takes some time to come back into this reality.
Right, because you are somewhere else. I've seen it. You are actually merging with a whole other level of dimensions, I think.
Yes, absolutely. And so you're not, you have to come down exactly the dimensions. And it's interesting. There are many times I lose vision. I can't even see. I can barely speak because the ego is vanished. So the ego has to like come into play and remember, oh yes, I'm Val, you're Alan, I'm in New York. It's very strange. And every time it happens, when you go into like samadhi states, it's very similar. So where did Kundalini come from? Who brought in Kundalini? And why was it brought in? Now, people believe that Kundalini is outside of us. No, it's inside of us, but there was an initial activator of the Kundalini, because the Kundalini is dormant, and you need to activate the Kundalini for others to receive the Kundalini, because in the Hindu system, which is true universally, it is transferred from one being to another. The energy, the Shakti, is transferred. So let's go through that. So Christ consciousness is something that has been brought down by many beings. And so I wrote here the brothers of the Anunnaki. Some of you are familiar with this because I'm sure Portal of Ascension has spoke of this, Enlil and Enki. And they are the two beings that were two Syrian beings, but they're also known as the Anunnaki, which is historically true in this area of Iran. They were one of the first beings to create civilization here on Earth. And they were on a mission to create the perfect human so that they could have slaves. And people think, oh, why were they so evil? But the way they were thinking was that they needed people to help them create the civilization, and also they were on a mission to find gold. So this was a download that was given to me when I went to Sirius, and that was something I spoke of in previous interviews. So around 300 BC, Atlantis and Lemuria were created, and we were visited by many Syrian beings that brought down Kundalini energy with Christ consciousness energy. And suddenly the Syrians were able to come and with ease, meaning they were able to come here and create a reality, create a civilization, create this, what we call, this mirage, basically, of what is not really real. And they brought down different kinds of things, and that has benefited humanity, like math, sacred geometry. They've also helped us have third eye awakening, DNA clearing, and sacred sound healing, of which you just heard with my friend Raphael. And they knew the powers of the sacred, the pure frequency, and how to manipulate the pure frequency. So they taught the humans how to rule and how to be greedy, because again, they activated the ego in what the earthlings at the time were, and they call themselves gods. And that's why still today we have history says that the Anunnaki were gods. And I don't know if some of you know who the Anunnaki were. They were the beings with the winged beings, with the long hats, and they are very well known in history, and still today they are known as gods, and also gods that have created civilization. But they won't, the regular history, the mainstream history, they will not talk about how they also were ETs, how they weren't from here, because some people call it mythology, but they were actually here. So how could that be mythology? So this time there were a lot of beings coming down here on Earth, because there was, there's always a galactic war happening, and the good versus evil kind of thing. So I always say the yin, there's always the yin and the yang. We can't have good if we don't know evil. So we don't know, we can't distinguish what's good if we don't have evil, because evil is just a lower frequency, a lower vibration than good is pure vibration, pure frequency. That's how we know it's good and bad. And it has different variants of what it can do, this lower frequency, and what it can do to the mind, and what it could do to the body, what it could do to the earth. So the Elohim brought down the Hathors, Vishnu, and other divine beings like Parvati, Osiris, Shiva, Krishna, Ganesha, Anubis. All these kinds of beings were coming down, and they were giving the Shaktipat. They were giving the transmission of the Kundalini awakening. And so there were people having the Kundalini awakening, but they always refer to these beings as gods, as above them. They always created this hierarchy, because the Syrians always wanted to create a hierarchy. Again, there's a slave mentality that they wanted for regular earthlings to have, meaning earthlings that weren't activated by the Kundalini. So there was two different kinds of beings, those that were activated through Kundalini and those that weren't. And those that weren't somehow were slaves. Now, today, that's not true. Perhaps we were slaves to society. We are slaves to our jobs. We are slaves to, the way things are, the way that we live. And that's how they considered slaves as well. They were stuck in this matrix of society. Now, I'm still part of the system. I'm not above it. I still have to work, and I still have to participate in society and deal with different kinds of levels of consciousness through people. But there's an awareness that's been awakened, and that is something that is that makes you unique and different from everybody else. So Kundalini it's here now. The system that is here today, they know what Kundalini is. They're the ones that are in charge of our system. Is whoever created this system per se. They know the power of the symbols that they use for their businesses, for their services. They know the power of Kundalini. And so Kundalini is usually depicted as a crisscross of the snake, or it's a coiled energy, the snake-like energy. And if you look at to the left, the caduceus here, where it says Kundalini, it's the white and blue energy, the hot and cold energy. The hot, which I was telling you before, the hot is healing. The cold is the magnetic energy, which is activating. And then when it goes up through the spine, which is that rod in the middle, and then the third eye, which is here, you see the eye of Horus, and the wings. The wings are enlightenment. You've lifted up and above this lower level of consciousness. You are awakened. You have wings. You can fly. This depiction is the symbol of Kundalini awakening, and the ancients knew it. The ancients knew it. The ancients used it, and it was interchangeable from one society to another. Let's say like Atlantis and Lemuria, they were familiar with this. Then Atlantis and Lemuria, when it was destroyed, these beings came out of that, and they created their religions in the West and in the East. For example, in the West was like ancient Egypt, and in the East was like ancient India. So to the right, we have the rod of Asclepius. And this rod was brought down from ancient Greece. And Asclepius was a god he was the healer of magic. He was also known for his healing during sleeping, which we'll talk about in next. And so they would call him they use this symbol in medical businesses like hospitals, any kind of doctor. This is the symbol that they use. To the right, they also use this in the medical system. So again, you see the snake, one snake here on the rod of Asclepius going up the rod, which is this symbol. They say comes from the god Asclepius. He was a healer. He used his rod to help heal a snake, and the snake was completely healed. And then the snake wrapped himself around the rod and never left. Of course, we all know it's not true because this is the symbol of Kundalini. He used the energy to give people Kundalini awakening. And this is what they would use. And forget the crossed star behind it, that was added later. But the symbol of the rod with the snake coming up of it, is the symbol of Kundalini. And again, to the right, the caduceus, as you see, this is the symbol of Hermes. And he was, they say that he was the god of businesses and trade and good luck. So he was also supposed to be an alchemist, but this meaning behind his energy was brought into the medical system because, again, he has the symbol of the snakes, and they say that the story is that Hermes, he used his rod and he put it down into the earth and then to heal all those around him, and then the snakes just rose up the rod and they joined in the healing, which could be true. But again, I believe that he used Kundalini energy to heal others, or to use the power of Kundalini to do what he wanted to do. Not necessarily good, could have been egoic, and this is why the medical industry uses this symbol as well. So as you see, Kundalini is in our matrix and it thrives even within the system. So again, going back to Asclepius, he was an ancient god. He was a descendant of Hygieia, and I'm trying to think of the other one. So I know he was a descendant of Hygieia. Hygieia is a goddess, and which comes from the word hygiene. So his purpose was here to also transmit. To see to the left, this is a painting done, and the painting is depicting Asclepius giving energy to these people in a room where they were in their bed, but with the pajama on. They were ready to go to sleep. You see the lady in the background, she has her hands on her face because she's ready to go to sleep, and all the way in the back the person's already sleeping. And if you notice, there's the snake coming up on the bedside table, and then there's a bowl there, and then a little vase. I'm assuming that's used for alchemy, different types of alchemy that he would use, maybe with oils, and so this would help them go to sleep. And the snake, of course, is the Kundalini energy being present, and he's using this energy for what they would call at the time, it was like an incubation period so that they could go to sleep, dream, and then have these experiences that will help them, or have these visions that will help them heal what they need to heal. And so it's funny because I never knew of this. And maybe 2 years after my Kundalini awakening, I said, oh, I want to do sessions while people are sleeping. And I would call them dream time sessions. And of course, the wisdom was coming out of the Kundalini. It was coming out of my soul. And my soul was telling me, you've done this before. You forgot, but you've done this. Now you need to do it again. And my last dream time session was in 2019, before the pandemic. So I've been doing it ever since I had my awakening, and the ancients have been doing it as well. And this is something that Kundalini wants us to do. Kundalini, it pushes us. It pushes us to serve. It pushes us to do work with others. And it doesn't have to be in like these massive groups. It doesn't have to be your quote unquote job. It could just be by you being present with the people that you meet every single day. And because it does affect all around you, everyone around you, including your any animal, any living tree, anything that's living, any sentient being, it affects them. Here's another. So here's another video that I want to show. And are there any questions? I can't see the questions. Are there any questions?
Let me check the chat. People, I think, are pretty absorbed in this. I mean, I am.
Okay.
No, keep going. We can take some questions at the end. Joan,
do you have any questions?
I don't see any questions yet, and I feel really
okay. Do you guys have any questions? I want to slow down.
Not yet. You're in a great flow.
I just love the associations of how it's weaved through our culture.
Yes.
The healing sessions of the Asclepians to everything else. So yeah, great.
Even I think back to the Anunnaki.
Yeah.
Keep going, Val. You're doing great.
All right. Let me find this video. Okay, so this was in Tokyo, and what's happening here? If you see, most of the people's hands are up, and I did this on purpose. I lifted their hands, and I wanted them to experience the power of the energy that is going through them. They had their hands up like that for 1 hour. Now, when you guys are done watching this presentation, I want you to just lay there with your hands up, just like these guys are, and see how long you can lift your hands up without the energy being present. You'll see the blood will flow down, down into away from your fingertips, and you won't be able to keep up your arms up. But the energy is lifting their arms up. It's keeping their arms up. They have, you can see from this picture that it's not a picture, it's a video, but do you think I should show the video?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So, but you can see from this snapshot how people have their eyes closed, and yet they're still able to keep them up as if they have no control. They have no control of their arms and their hands, and they are in a state of higher consciousness where they are not experiencing their bodies anymore. They have become one with the energy, and their body is no longer, doesn't have that mass. And that's why, even though their hands are up for so long, for a whole hour, if the blood was flowing down, they couldn't even, it wouldn't even affect them. It wouldn't even affect them. And to me, it's just a magical experience. and I've experienced it myself. So I wanted everyone else who I work with to experience that as well, because I realized I was like, wow, I've kept my arms up for so long, and yet I feel fine. If I did that, I tried to do it at home without the energy being present, and I was like, I can't do it for more than 5 minutes. So let me look for this. It's called toning in source energy transmission. Okay, hold on. Actually, I might even have it like offhand.
How are we doing on time, Joan?
Yeah, how are we doing on time?
Are you there, Joan? Joan, maybe she'll come back. Yeah. But how long is your?
Guys, I laid down to put my arms up. That's why. I'm confessing I was getting ready for that.
Good. Okay, go back there. Just answer the question. How long do you think she has now?
Well, we're supposed to start at 2:15, so probably a few more minutes to finish up. Let's do it.
How much longer is your presentation, Val?
Okay, so let me go faster.
Okay.
I have a lot to say.
I know. I'm going to talk to Neil about doing a whole special with you.
Oh, okay. Oh, that'd be great. So can you still see this?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Hold on. Okay. Hold
on. And poor Joan is already ready for us.
So this Syrian star family. So when they came to Earth 250,000 years ago, this is when they brought down, this is the era when the divine feminine was brought back. So remember, Joan, I was talking about how there was a time there where the masculine was very present and the feminine energy was not present here on Earth. But then it came, and there was this, there was like this, not war, but tug of war of what was more powerful. Was it the divine feminine? Was it the divine masculine? And as we know through history, that the divine masculine has always been the heavyweight. That energy has always been the more considered the more powerful. But then it's kind of changed through history, where all of a sudden there was a king, but then there was a queen. So Adam and Eve, they were the first man and first woman according to the Bible. And in a way, they weren't the first man and first woman per se on Earth, but what happened was they were the first man and the first woman of which the Anunnaki created beings that had ego, and were connected to this DNA that was that they could basically manipulate. They can manipulate that kind of being, and this is where the DNA, we have, the DNA that crosses over the double helix. We have the two, but we're actually in a period of time where we will receive the third triple helix. So they gave us that second helix string of energy in the DNA, the Sumerian, aka Syrian. And so when they got rid of Lilith was the snake, the serpent being that basically introduced the fig to Eve from the tree of life. And this being, she was the Shakti. She was the goddess trying to come through and break through their consciousness, giving them a Kundalini awakening. So she gave Eve the Kundalini awakening. And so it was the feminine that had the first experience. And this is why I believe also that there are many females that are having the Kundalini awakening at this time, at this current time. So because Eve in the past she had that Kundalini awakening, and she told Adam, she said, Adam, this is what happened to me, and I realized that we've been slaves to Enki all this and on all this time, and he was curious, and he was pulled to have this experience. And through the energy, the plant medicine, whatever you want to call it, because it was through a fruit, he had this experience. He had the Kundalini awakening. And of course, they were thrown out of paradise, which is basically their created their city, their civilization, and they were calling that paradise, but it wasn't paradise. It was their construct, a fake construct of paradise for these beings that they didn't know any better.
Hey Val,
yeah.
How long will it take to wrap this up, you think?
Okay, let's see. It's almost done. I'll skip over the videos and it's almost done. So
okay.
So you know, this is what God, Enki said to Eve. Your eyes shall be open. Oh, sorry, this is what Lilith said to Eve. Your eyes shall be open, knowing the truth of good and evil as God. This is what she tells Eve, and Eve ate the fig, and this is the new level of consciousness, which they call the Nakash. So when we have this Kundalini experience, Kundalini awakening, we go through this higher level of consciousness called, there's actually a name for it, called the Nakash. And this is what they call it in the Bible, in Hebrew. And in Sanskrit, you know, Naga means the serpent. So it's very connected, very connected. And so this is the merging of consciousness has allowed them also to allow them to reproduce, because now they're in this very feminine energy, creatrix energy, and they start to reproduce. And this is why they are called the first man and the first woman.
Wow. So if you were to bring people to like a conclusion,
yes, okay,
leave them with some wisdom,
yes,
and energetics, yes.
Okay, so I'll leave it with this one line, which is, I think, beautiful, because I think it's I think that it says it all about Kundalini. So Enki said to Adam, he said, Ayehak, which means, where are you? So even though he was present in the body, their physical form, he's asking Adam, where are you? Because he is in such high levels of consciousness that he's gone now. He's not, this reality is nothing compared to what where he experienced with Kundalini. And so when we experience this Kundalini awakening, our wisdom comes through our multidimensional experiences, multidimensional realities are awakened. Our brain is completely awakened and activated, where we can access all kinds of information. We can do remote viewing. We can look through our third eye to see the past, the future, the present. We can see through walls. We can see through, we can go to places where we've never been before. I can go to Egypt with my consciousness. You can travel, you can astral travel, you can travel with your mind, with your consciousness, from different all places around the world, all places around the galaxy. Kundalini is a gift. It's a galactic gift that has been given to us to awaken and to become the true humans that we really are.
Wow. Wait, unshare your screen for a second, but.
Okay.
Wow. Beautiful.
You know, I want to invite you back. I'll talk to Neil, or you could come on my program. We could do a whole workshop.
Sure.
The history, and then bring in the star families and that whole other level of what it's for. Neil, what'd you think?
Right. Kundalini as a pathway to connection.
I loved it.
Yes.
I loved it. I was hoping somebody would bring in the historical, context of it also, just the whole journey of how it connects with history, with ETs. That's everything I'm into.
We just didn't have time. Yeah. I mean, everything is, the ETs, the present ETs, they are starting to see how there's so much illumination here on the earth, how many people are starting to awaken. on all kinds of levels of consciousness. So there's a constant relationship that we're forming with them through our levels of consciousness. So with Kundalini awakening and the transference of that Shakti pot to awaken others, it's a galactic activation. We're awakening here, humans on Earth, but it's awakening the beings that are seeing, oh, humanity's shifting, humanity is awakening. Now we can have a real relationship with them, where meaning they don't have to hide anymore.
Right.
Well, why don't you do a 2.5-hour workshop on Portal to Ascension? I'm just inviting her, Neil.
I mean, there's so much to talk about. Kundalini
But she brought through the star beings in a retreat. I saw those pictures.
Yeah.
The Syrian beings have
Perfect.
So
we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I don't really say no to Ellen anymore.
Oh, no, it's
Is there
up to
any
you.
questions?
It's your business. I'm just,
Yes,
I
come
just
on.
think Val
Okay.
has so much to share on so many levels that you're interested in, Neil.
Yeah, definitely.
All of the Kundalini speakers today actually have been blowing my mind. I have had this antenna vibrating since we started. Okay, what was your last question to
No, I just
Val? Thank you, Val. We're very grateful for your presence here.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Val.
And your work.
It's my service. It's just it's what I'm told to do. But thank you so much.
Well, thank
And
you.
sharing that.
It's always good to see you. And stick around. You might have something input for other people after.
Sure, I'll come visit.
Okay.
I have to check on my son.
I just want to say thank you for sharing that activation of yours. I watched that and I went, that's so private. Oh my God. Just that you shared that was just amazing for me.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Joan.
Yeah.
It is quite personal, because it's so open and vulnerable, and
it is.
Yeah.
And there are people that have Kundalini awakening and they keep it personal and they won't share. But I was told to heal others in this journey of my life. I actually heard the voice and I heard, now it's time for you to heal others. And then I was confirmed by my teacher at the time, who literally came up to me 60 seconds after that and said, you need to heal others now. So that was a confirmation for me. And
I love that.
So it's not an egoic choice that I'm sharing, that I don't want to, be famous for having, I just know that I have to share this information, and that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Gratitude
to all of you, and
talk to you soon.
Continue to do the work that you're all doing. Love you guys so much.
Thank you.
Love you. Thanks.
Bye-bye.